Hey y'all, so I'm reading to myself and I came across a very, gosh, it's as if the book is taking a page from my life and said, hey, Marquette, sharing is caring. Now, I'm not sure if you can actually see the words or not. You don't need to. Just look at my ceiling as I read to you, okay? All right. So, the part of the book that you can't see is, it was talking about the Apollo 11 liftoff, how, they went into outer space, had the gravitation pull keeps everything the way it is. But none of that is necessity. We're going to skip down where it says habits defined. Okay, habits defined. For our purposes, we will define a habit as the intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. Knowledge is the theoretical paradigm, the what to do and the why. Skill is the how to do, and desire is the motivation, the want to do. In order to make something a habit in our lives, we have to have all three. I may be ineffective in my interactions with my work associates, my spouse, or my children because I constantly tell them what I think. Guilty as charged. That's just why I made the video, because yeah, I might be too. But I've never really listened to them unless I search out correct principles of human interaction. I may not even know I need to listen. I'm working on that. Even if I do know that in order to interact effectively with others, I really need to listen to them. I may not have the skill, I may not know how to really listen deeply to another human being, but knowing I need to listen and knowing how to listen is not enough. Unless I want to listen, unless I have the desire, it won't be a habit in my life. Creating a habit requires work in all three dimensions. The being, seeing, change is an upward process. Changing, seeing, which in turn changes being, and so forth. As we move in an upward spiral of growth by working on knowledge, skill, and desire, we can break through to new levels of personal and interpersonal effectiveness as we break with old paradigms that may have been a source of pseudo security for years. It's sometimes a painful process. It's a change that has to be motivated by higher purpose, by the willingness to subordinate. What you think you want now for what you want later. But this process produces happiness. The object and design of our existence, happiness can be defined in parts at least as the fruit of the desire and the ability to sacrifice what we want now for what we want eventually. Whew. Tell me I'm not the only one this book is talking to right now. Surely I'm not the only one. So, knowledge, habits, skills, desires. Effective habits. Internalize principles, patterns of behavior, right? All right. Y'all want to keep going? All right. The maturity continuum. The 7 habits are not a set of separate or piecemeal psych up formulas in harmony with the natural laws of growth. They provide an incremental, sequential, highly integrated approach to the development of personal and interpersonal effectiveness. They move us progressively on a maturity continuum from dependence to interdependence, to independence to interdependence. Okay, so basically, they, like, as you understand all this, as this is all going through everything, you go from being like a child who needs to hold your mama's hand in the store to being like, you know what? As long as I see you at the store, I know we're okay. To being like, you know what? I know you're in the store. I know I'm in the store. I want to go shop where I want to shop. You're going to go shop where you want to shop, but we're all okay. To being like, hey, I'm going to stay within earshot of you, but I know you're still here, and you know I'm still here, and we can just kind of let each other know when we're ready to go, but we're okay with that, okay? Okay. All right. We each belong, we each begin life as an infant, totally dependent on others. We are directed, nurtured, and sustained by others. Without the nurturing, we would only live for a few hours or a few days at the most. Yeah, technically, that's a fact. Then gradually, over the ensuing months and years, we become more and more independent, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially, until eventually we can essentially take care of ourselves, becoming inner directed and self-reliant. That is the goal. As we continue to grow and mature, we become increasingly aware that all of nature is interdependent, that there is an ecological system that governs nature, including society. We further discover that the higher reaches of our natures have to do with our relationships with others, that human life also is interdependent. Yeah, so think of a garden, how you need sun, earth, the microbiome, bugs, and they all work together to make the plants grow. And some plants, companion planting. Okay, never mind. Nerd moment. Our growth from infancy to adulthood is in accordance with nature, the natural law. And there are many dimensions to growth. Reaching our full physical maturity, for example, does not necessarily assure us of a simulation. Emotional or mental maturity. On the other hand, a person's physical dependence does not mean that he or she is mentally or emotionally immature. On the maturity continuum, dependence is the paradigm of you take care of me, you come through for me, you don't come through, I blame you for the results. Independence is the paradigm of I can do it. I am responsible. I am self-reliant. I can choose. Interdependence is the paradigm of we can do it. We can cooperate. We can combine our talents and abilities to create something greater together. Dependent people need others to get what they want. Independent people can get what they want through their own effort. Interdependent people combine their own efforts with the efforts of others to achieve their greatest success. Yeah, Marquette is working on going from dependent to interdependence, but only with the right people. If I were physically dependent, paralyzed, or disabled, or limited in some physical way, I would need you to help me. If I were emotionally dependent, my sense of worth and security would come from your opinion of me. If you didn't like me, it could be devastating. If I were intellectually dependent, I would count on you to do my thinking for me, to think through the issues and problems of my life. If I were interdependent, physically I would be pretty well make it on my own. Mentally, I could think from my own thoughts. I could move from one level of abstraction to another. I could think creatively and analytically and organize and express my thoughts in understandable ways. Emotionally, I would be validated from within. I would be inner directed. My sense of worth would not be from be a function of being liked or treated well. I would love to get to that point. It's easy to see that independence is much more mature than dependence. Independence is a major achievement in of achievement in and of itself, but independence is not supreme. Nevertheless, current social paradigms. All right, let's stop there. But this is from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and I stopped on page 50.